The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, welcome to the webinar, Bitrix24, Next Level CRM. So, who are we? I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners Interface, and with me I've got our Support Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, just put them in the box provided and we can have a Q&A session at the end of each section.
So we're partners of Bitrix24. We're located in Sheffield in the UK, and we have offices in New York and Dubai. We manage all pre-sale support, including providing a demo, talking about the different editions that are available, full implementation service, including customization and training. If you choose to have a self-hosted edition of Bitrix, then we can provide a hosting solution for you, or we can install it on your own server, and we provide an ongoing telephone support service. So what is Bitrix24? A suite of over 35 tools for managing your business. Now over 3 million organizations using Bitrix24. Available as a cloud and self-hosted solution. Prices for the cloud starting from around commercial packages around $24 a month. Self-hosted price slightly differently. Essentially a one-off, a lifetime cost, starting for the base product from around $1,500. On top of that, you need to consider some hosting costs for the self-hosted, and on top of both, you might want to consider some support costs and some implementation support from a partner. So why Bitrix24 for CRM? Bitrix24 is voted consistently in the top 10 CRMs in the world. Includes marketing campaigns, process leads captured from multiple different sources, communicate with customers on multiple channels, build up a very good picture of all the activities, interactions with everyone within your organisation, with your customers. Considerable amounts of automation available to speed up and to improve the efficiency of your sales processes, and of course forecasting and full reporting tools as well. So let's start in this first section looking at the marketing campaigns. We'll look at how we can create a market segment. We'll look at how you can then build your campaign. We're going to look at an email campaign, and then what you can do to report, just see how many people have clicked through on those campaigns. So let's go. You'll see that you've got a new link. If you're already a Bitrix customer, you see you've got a new link in your menu called CRM Marketing. Now fully live and out of beta and available on certainly all commercial packages. I'm not too sure whether it's available on the free package. We can check that. This allows you to gives you access to this area where you can build your campaign, create your list prospects, build your campaign and track that. So essentially what we've got in here: email campaigns, SMS campaigns. We can do campaigns on messenger tools on Facebook, and you can also do a voice message campaign as well. Can target individuals by their email address and telephone number on these platforms like Google and Facebook, and you can target clients who have repeat requirements with a repeat campaign, a sales boost campaign. So we're going to set up, Andy's going to show you how to set up I think firstly we're going to do a list, segment our list. We're then going to create a campaign, an email campaign. We're going to send it out. We're going to see how you get, what sort of stats we can see on who's opened those.
Yeah, so as Damien said, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a segment. So for those of you that use such tools as MailChimp, a segment is generally the same as creating a list. So you are creating a market segment based on your CRM contacts and leads if you wanted to use them. So it's pretty straightforward to use. Click into segments here. We can click on create a segment. We can give the segment a name, and we can click on here, and if we say, for example, let's call this our July contacts. And the best thing with Bitrix is, especially the CRM marketing tools, it does integrate straight with your clients in your CRM, so you don't need to export anything and import it in if you didn't need to, because it's automatically connected. And what we're going to do on this particular segment is we're going to look at particular contacts that maybe have been added, let's say in this month. So we can say July contacts have been added in this month. I'm not sure 100% how much data we have in this demonstration site, but let's let's have a search. So we've got no contacts in there. So let's just take this out, and you can see here. So basically, we can filter out any of our contacts. We can say filter out the contact types. We can filter out maybe when they became contacts. But you can also filter out custom fields within here, and not only contact companies as well. And we can also filter leads as well. So we may want to, maybe if we've imported a group of leads into the CRM, we might want to send out an email campaign specifically to those leads. So you can see here that we have the client type contact. It's pulled up 5 contacts here. So you can see that if I click on view, you can see what contacts that has pulled into our particular segment here. So let's click on save. So you can now see July contacts. We've got 5 emails, 5 phones, and 5 in total 5 contacts. So in theory, we could use this for an email campaign. We could use this for an SMS campaign if we wanted to do. So now that we've got our segment, we can go into campaigns. And you can see at the moment we've got no campaigns that have previously been run in our system. So what we're going to do is create campaign, and we're going to create an email campaign in this case. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to select a template. The good thing now is that you can actually import a complete, if we clicked into here, we can complete HTML template. So if you do have templates already that maybe exist in MailChimp, you can actually export those out and import them straight into here if you wanted to. In our case, I'll just show you one of the pre-built templates. There are quite a lot of different variations. So maybe let's select the top one to start off with. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose who we're sending this campaign to. So I created a segment that was the July contacts. So in the right hand side here, if I go to my segments, then you can see we've now got the one I've just created in here. So you can see it's going to send it to 5 recipients, and then we can give our email a title. So let's say welcome to Bitrix24. And I selected this particular template, but what we can do, it's a very easy tool to maneuver. If we wanted to, say for example, let's have some image and text, it's a good drag and drop tool. We can simply click on the pencil icon, we can add some text in here, maybe attending a webinar for example. And if we wanted to create some links, we wanted to insert the image onto the left hand side here, it's just a case of dragging and dropping. So if we click on save, that's actually, once I've clicked on save, that's actually saved the email template. And what we can actually do is we can schedule this for now. So pretty much like, again, MailChimp, you can schedule it for now and send out the campaign. You can schedule it for later if you wanted to. So let's in this case, schedule it for now and press on send. So you can see now that it's now appeared in our campaign list, and you can see the recipients of who it's gone to. So it's gone to these contacts here, and then we can actually come back to here and look at the statistics that this campaign brings. So we can see how many opens, how many click-throughs. We can see like a history of everything that's happened. I think we maybe refresh this. It's actually brought in the statistics here. So if I click onto it, you can see now total messages have been sent out. And at the moment, because it's just been sent out, nobody's clicked on it or nobody's viewed on it. However, you can see a click map, you can see get quite a lot of statistics based on the campaigns that you've just sent out.
So do we start to get something on here?
Yeah.
Shows us visually where they're clicking, whether they're clicking on images or buttons or...
Exactly, so I think it provides some great feedback for you on your email campaigns, and it is quite a detailed report. I think the great thing about the email marketing and the SMS marketing in Bitrix is, like I say, it's that connection between your data in your CRM and the data that you're creating in the campaigns.
I think also, although we integrate with MailChimp, and that's a free tool, I don't think you get all the analytics back from MailChimp inside Bitrix. So I think this is a better option for you if you want to keep those information on those clicks inside your CRM. In addition to that, it's built into the price. There's no additional cost for it. So considerably lower price than MailChimp and other providers. Okay, thanks. See if we've got any questions. How many emails can I send? It's free for up to 5,000 emails, or it's included. 5,000 emails is included in the standard plan. It depends on the particular plan that you have. If you go onto the Bitrix24 website, then details of that are on there. Okay. Okay, so we've done our marketing campaign. We're going to generate some leads now. Those leads might come in from social media platforms. They might come in from a web form that we've directed people to a page, a web form on a page that we've directed people to. They might come from chat widgets, from email, or from telephone calls. So we want to be able to capture all those leads inside our CRM, and we can certainly do that. We'll have a look at Facebook. We'll have a look at a web form. We'll have a look at how telephony also can, or telephone calls can also generate a new lead in the system. Okay, go to our Facebook page first of all. So as a user on the Facebook page, I can chat.
Yeah. So the thing is with this, just make sure that if you go to Open Channels and you go to the Facebook and you can see the integration, make sure you integrated the two together.
Yeah. So if we go into
go into that.
So if we go into our chat window, then we can see the message here. I'm able to reply to that message, and if we switch back into Facebook, we can see that. So you can very quickly, you can direct messages through to the right team, the right group of people in your office to respond to these messages. You don't need to be logged into all your other platforms. You can reply very, very quickly, and that's what people are expecting. So that will generate a lead for us. We'll have a look at those in a second. Second way to generate a lead is to going to capture leads is to capture them from forms on your website. So I have a form here, and we can complete our name, email address. You can customize this form. You can have the fields that you need to capture the information you need to capture. You can make these mandatory if you want, or leave them as non-mandatory here. I can submit that form, and if we go back into the site again, you can see that it's given me a notification. So that's now generated again a lead. Let's just open up the leads and open up the leads page, and we'll see those first couple that have come in. So we have Facebook message here. Let's open that one up. So I can see firstly it's come from Facebook, so I can do my reporting on it. I can see it's captured the name of the person who has that Facebook account.
I think the good thing is with the Facebook integration as well is if you actually request their email, or you request their maybe their phone number, the actual data from that, Bitrix will pick up and actually store that information in the particular lead itself. So if they were to provide their email, or they were to provide their phone number on Facebook Messenger, it will actually come into this lead and populate that particular lead.
Yeah, we can see that. So if I have So I provide my email address just in the chat window. We're not asking them to fill out a form or anything, but just in the chat window. We go back into the lead now, and if I refresh the page, then it will populate. You see that didn't exist before. So it's identified that as an email address and populated the correct field with it. On the right hand side, we can see a summary of the chat transcript as well, so we can refer back to the actual conversation. So we've captured 2 leads, one from Facebook, one from our CRM form as well. So this is the CRM form. You can see we've captured the name, email address, and company name in this instance. Let's do a telephone call now. See if I can sync my phone. Okay. Let's just put our phone over here. If I'm in the app at the moment. If I call the system. Okay, so information it's captured in this case is going to be the telephone number. Let's just kill that call. And if we refresh the leads page, then we can see here it's going to bring in the telephone number into the correct field of the lead. It's not given the lead, not got a name or anything like that. We've only got a telephone number in this case. But that incoming call has generated a. Let me just put that onto Bitrix. That incoming call has generated a new lead. Should that telephone number have existed in a lead or a contact within the system, then it would have, firstly, it would have given us the idea of the person who was ringing at the time, and it would record, if you've got it enabled, to record that call inside the relevant contact. But that's generated a lead. So if we go back to our leads page, we can see we've now got those 3 different leads that we generated. Okay. See if we've got any questions.
Yeah, so when somebody writes comments on Facebook, I do believe there is a comments integration. We've just integrated the messenger at the moment, so I do believe you'd have to do it. You'd have to integrate that method, but we've done the messenger tool in our case.
Okay, can we get contact information from Facebook? So I believe that you can capture their name, but I don't think. You can capture the name, but you can't capture any other information. But we capture their email address, but they type their email address into the chat window. So you don't bring across any other data about that particular person other than what they would type into the messenger window. Okay, so we looked at how we can run our campaign, how we can capture leads from different sources. Let's look at an example of a sales process, starting off with a lead, how we can do some activity and automation on that lead, how we can convert a lead, qualify a lead and convert it into a deal and a company and a contact. And then at the end we're going to look at how you can integrate with PayPal to make a payment request. Okay, so these are our leads we've generated. We're going to pick one from, we're going to pick this lead here, and if I go into my mobile, I can access the CRM on my mobile.
Jump into demo on your mobile, I think.
Okay. Oops. Okay, so if we go into our leads, then the lead I want to convert is this one, CRM, complete a CRM form. I can access the lead on my mobile here, access the details of the lead, and it is possible for me to convert this on my mobile. So I've had a conversation with them, we've qualified this prospect, and we've converted that. Let's just minimize that and refresh refresh this page, you can see that it's been put a notification there. To refresh this page, we can see that the status has now been is at converted. If we go into our dependencies, we'll be able to see that it's generated for us a company, a contact, and a deal. We can open the company from this page. So what we want to do now is we can have a conversation with this particular prospect. I can open up company record here. I can dial them from the system using the built-in telephony here. Once we've identified exactly what they want, we can make some notes on the record here.
Yeah, I think the good thing is with what Denny's just done is convert that particular lead into a company, a contact, and a deal. Everything is associated together. So what we have done here, you can see AJ Corp is the company, and in this case, Andy Jones is the contact for this company. But you may have multiple contacts, and what Bitrix allows you to do is assign multiple contacts to companies, and then like Damien's doing here, is then communicate with each of those particular contacts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to add some activity to the contact, we can click into the contact, we can add, we can call the contact, we can email the contact. Let's send out an email using a template. So we've got a new inquiry template here. We can send that from the system, and it will keep a record of that email, of course, in the activity stream of that particular contact. We can forward diarise calls, so I need to follow up at the end of the week. I can schedule a call for the end of the week and save that. All historic activity appears at the bottom of the right hand side. Any planned outstanding activity such as scheduled calls will appear at the top. Other things we can do, book meetings, we can integrate with an SMS provider if you want to send out SMS. You can do that, generate tasks and things like that. So if somebody has to do some research or some background work on this particular prospect, you can assign a task to them. So there's various things you can do to add activity manually. In addition to that, we can do some considerable automation on this particular opportunity as well. So I've gone into the deal which is associated with this new company. You can still see the company and the contact linked to this deal. We have these different stages across the top. You can define the descriptions on these stages, and if I go into the automation tab, you can define the actions that are performed when a stage is updated.
Yeah, so just a little bit of terminology in terms of if you're new to Bitrix, what we would classify really a deal is maybe a qualified opportunity. So we've got the lead that's coming from, in this case, it was coming in from a complete CRM form. We've gone through that particular lead and qualified it, and now we're at what a deal is. And a deal, how we would associate a deal usually, is a qualified opportunity. Mm-hmm. And the next stage is what Damien's about to take you through, is the way that you would progress through that particular opportunity to win that particular opportunity.
Yeah, we find that most businesses use deals, but not all. So Bitrix has leads, companies, contacts, quotes, and deals, and invoices. It might be that you don't need to use all of those, particularly leads. It might be that if you're not processing large volumes of leads, you can manage those by just creating a company and a contact as and when a new inquiry comes through. So I think the lead stage is dependent on whether you need to qualify the inquiries or whether all inquiries are taken forward. So you can choose not to use leads. Most companies would use companies and contacts and quotes. If you want to do automation, if you want to if you want to report on opportunities out there, then leads are kind of leads and quotes are good to use in conjunction with each other. So I'm inside the automation tab within a deal. We've got, as we said, different stages across the top, and if I disconfigure my automate clicking configuration here, you can see the stages are replicated across here. So when we update the stage to prospect introduction here, we're automatically scheduling a phone call in for a salesperson. We're automatically going to send an email out to that particular prospect as well. We've got a control here as well, which will be performed as well. So should the stage of this deal not progress, within 5 days, then it will notify a supervisor. It keeps make sure that we're on top of all the deals, all the opportunities. When we get to quotation stage, again we're scheduling another further call to follow up, sending out a notification. We are generating here in this action block here, we're automatically generating a quote that we're sending to the client based on the products that we've selected in the deal. And then going forward, when we get to these later stages like qualification and promised, sending out further emails, we're scheduling meetings, whether that's with the client or internally. So you can see you can do quite a bit. If I just open up this, you can see the other actions that are available. So we can post messages internally on our activity streams. We can change responsible person. That can be quite useful. So as the deal progressed to a better opportunity, then maybe you want to escalate that to a more senior person within the business. You can put controls in, which we've mentioned. Do things like send out emails or send out internal notifications, maybe to remind people or to notify people something's changed, schedule calls and meetings. If we go to communication, you can communicate with these prospects using email and SMS, but in addition to that, you can communicate using robocalls if you want to get involved in that. We can target adverts at this particular individual on platforms such as Facebook and Google. So based on the email address and telephone number that we have stored in the deal, we'll be able to target just this particular prospect on Facebook and Google. Of course, remember that we're targeting them only when we're at a certain stage when we believe that actually this prospect is worth spending some advertising money on. And there's a few other things we can do to integrate with other systems. So potentially you can post information or retrieve information from another system. So those are the rules or actions. They're based, as we said, on a user updating the stage like this in a manual way. There is a way to actually trigger an update to a stage automatically, and these sit here. So if we open up this, so should an email come in from the email address that's on the deal, then that can trigger an update to a stage of the deal. Same thing for an incoming call. I think probably a really good use case for these triggers is something like a form. So if as part of our sales process we've sent out an email asking a prospect to complete some information on a web form, if that form gets submitted, we can automatically then move the deal forward to a more promising stage. Okay, so we have we've captured our leads. We've done some activity manually on that lead. We're able to email, we're able to SMS, we're able to call that prospect from the system. We're able to do some automated activity as well if you want to automate some of those processes. Let's say we win the lead. Last thing left to do really is to invoice them. So Andy will show us how we can integrate with PayPal to generate an invoice, automatically send an invoice to them, and tie that payment side up.
Yeah, so as Davey mentioned, if we work our way through this, in particular what you would generally do is move it along, and then you can see at each stage everything's being actioned here. So as Davey mentioned, the last thing to do once we've won this is we're going to create an invoice, and based on that invoice we're going to request payment for the invoice via PayPal. So if I just, what I'll do first is actually create the invoice, and then I'll show you. So if I create the invoice here, the good thing about the invoice is that it pulls in all the information from the actual deal itself. Now we didn't add any products on the particular deal, but what I'll do is I'll add a product in this case here, and it will generate the total value of the invoice. So once I've clicked and saved this, you can now see that we have the invoice based on the information from the company and from the contact. And what we want to do now is we actually want to request payment for this particular invoice, and we're going to send them an email with an invoice link. And based on that invoice link, we're going to have a link to PayPal. So we've had a few questions recently just regarding how to integrate PayPal, and what Bitrix has to offer is the PayPal integration. So if you're on Bitrix, you just need to go to the applications. So if I just open that up in another tab, And what you need to do, just while we're in here as well, there are a lot of applications that Bitrix comes with, so you may want to integrate with maybe QuickBooks or Xero or another accounts package. Then you can simply just search them here. I'll search for PayPal in our case. This is how we would, you can click on it, PayPal integration here. And we've got it installed already, but there would be a green install button. Click on it and then it would ask you to provide, if I just go into our PayPal integration here, it will ask you to provide a access token on here. So it's unique to your PayPal account. So once you've got that, click on save, and then if we go back to the invoice, all we need to do is click on the invoice link, highlight it, and then what we can do here is we can automatically send an email to the contact saying, find your invoice, paste the link. I mean, you can even put that in a HTML tag if you wanted to. You can click on HTML here, put in href, and actually name it if you wanted to, and to make it a little bit neater, thanks Bitrix, and then press on send, and then that will go to that particular contact. And what they will find is when they click on the link, I think it'll look a little bit different because we're in here, but they will be able to click on pay using PayPal, and then they will be able to pay using their card on PayPal on there. So it's, like I say, you can style these up as well. Bitrix have now provided a good document editor tool on here, so we can style up the PDFs to be branded for your company. But that's how you would generally get from a lead, generating a contact and company in your database in the system, and then working your way through a deal, and then finally generating your invoice and sending that out, requesting for payment via PayPal.
Okay. See if we've got any questions on that section. Do you integrate with Stripe? I don't think we integrate with Stripe as, I don't think there's an app for Stripe as standard, but we could certainly develop it for you. If you're on a self-hosted, that would be possible to do that sort of integration.
If I put a trigger, the rule only works with that trigger. Yeah, so if you put a trigger on a particular stage within a deal, then that trigger is only going to trigger that particular stage column. So the actions in that particular stage, it's only going to trigger those. It's not going to trigger any other ones in your process.
Yeah, if we just click back into the deal and have a look at that quickly. We open up one of these deals and go back into the automation. Then I've gone into a company. Let's go into the deal and go into the automation. Then yeah, if you've got a trigger here, let's say you've got a trigger here. This is either an incoming email or a form that you specified is submitted. This will actually win this deal for you. None of these actions will be performed should an incoming email come in. We've got it twice here, but if it was just once, then an incoming email would update it to this stage and perform this final action. None of these actions in between will be performed. So only the one below the trigger, only the series of actions below the trigger would be performed in that case. Can emails generate leads? I think we looked at that. So we didn't look at that in particular, but yes, an incoming email. If the email's not linked to a contact or an existing lead in the system, it will generate a new lead for you. You can receive, you can receive notifications as well. Or you can create groups that goes so that those leads are sent to the right people.
Yeah, it's something that we haven't really touched upon within regards to your email integration into Bitrix, because it does work really well with the CRM. So if you go to your profile, click on email integrations, then choose your provider. Bitrix does have quite a lot of providers here. And then you have the option to integrate with your CRM. And generally what that means is that if we've connected our Google account to our profile, then if I was to send an email from my Gmail account, or I was to receive an email, then Bitrix will check to see whether that recipient exists in your CRM, and if it does, then it will make a copy and put it in that contacts activity stream. So you'll be always able to see a history of communications between users on the system and the contacts. And like I say, that works on you sending emails as well as you receiving emails. So as long as the contact exists in the CRM, it will make a copy. Mm-hmm. And as Damien mentioned then, if you want to create new leads based on your email address, you would just need to have this checked here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we recommend probably not allowing your personal integration on your email to create a new lead, because it can get inundated with emails that generally maybe marketing emails or things like that. It can generate a lot of leads.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. So two-way integration with your email client, and that's not available on all CRMs, so that's something you should be checking. No requirement for any software to be running. It does it, it all does it in the background for you. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look finally at reporting. So we want to see really where our best sales opportunities are coming from, which are converting into sales for us. So we can do that through dashboards. We can see more detailed information on list views and Kanban views. We'll have a look at that, and you can build your own custom reports as well. Go into back into the CRM then, and go into, I guess, start first of all. So the start page of the CRM is an opportunity to display the widgets you want to see, the sort of key information that you need to see. So we can add any additional items to this. I can view on the start page, I can view data from any of these modules, whether it's leads, companies, contacts, deals, etc. And I can it's all drag and drop, so I can create my own layout that's unique to myself. So if we can restore default. No, so everyone has their own layout, so everyone can see their own data that's relevant to them. We have a filter at the top, so we can see that we're filtering for the last 30 days. So the data in each of these widgets will correspond to the filter item we're using at the top. You can actually filter by responsible person as well, so we can narrow it down a little bit further by, I might want to see sales information that relates just to myself for the last 30 days. I can see, just to go through them quickly, a little bit of information about communications, where we're getting inquiries from, over which medium, and how we're responding to those here. We can see, in fact, let's just take that one out so that we've got a little bit better information in these charts. We can see a little bit of information by individual user here, who's most active on telephone, email, and CRM form inquiries. We can then split down again to see who's got the most leads, which are outstanding or complete, leads, companies, deals, etc. If you scroll down, you can now add individual sales targets for individual team members, and this will give you a total overall target for the organisation or team or department.
Yeah, and that's going to be based on the values that are in deals. So as soon as a deal becomes one, it's going to then compare it against for example, this John Smith has got a $50,000 target. Mm-hmm. If a deal in this case gets one for $15,000, then you can say 15% of 50.
Yeah, if we just go into another page quickly into a deal, then what you need to make sure is that the deal is assigned to the correct user. So this is the sales guy that's going to get commission on this particular opportunity. So you need to make sure that he's a responsible person for that deal. We'll back down to the bottom again. Then we can see the targets. A little bit of information there, just with this guy on based on sales volumes as well, but that would show each member of the team if there's any further data in the system. So you can customize that start page. Each individual module has the same reporting page. So let's go into deals. We can see the same thing specifically just for deals this time. As we saw on the start page, you can show information from leads, companies and contacts, etc., not just deals or quotes. So each page has its own dashboard view. Of course, you can widen this screen view here if you want to display this on a board on the wall or something, and remove the menu from that view. Another way of drilling down into this information really is to do some filtered list views. So, I mean deals again, we can see all the deals available in the business which are in progress. If I want to filter them by just my deals, I can put some date ranges in there as well if I want to do that. Then we can narrow down that view. If I want to filter by promised deals now, let's go into the filter again. Let's look at stages and promised, and then search, and of course we're going to get now a narrow view of all the opportunities that I'm responsible for, which are in progress and actually I've set as promised. So these are my key opportunities, I guess. Deals are split into different pipelines. If you operate with different product groups, then you might want to use pipelines as well. Just on this page, let's still look at Kanban as well, because this is a slightly different view. Let's take some of these filters out so that we get more data in the system. But on a Kanban view, of course, I can see them, each of these deals more graphically, and I can move them around. But I can also see a value for each stage. So at this stage, we can see we've got $12,000. If I move those now, then that's going to update the value for this total stage here. I'm going to get some notifications as well because we moved that deal. It's a process probably running in the background. Okay, so we can view on dashboards, we can view in lists and Kanban view, and then if you want something more specific or you need line by line information, then you can create your own reports. So look at deals by responsible person. So you can see that a bit graphically about the opportunities we have in the system, and then we can see a list of the deals we have. I think these are filtered in this case by deals which are created this month and have a value of over this, but we can change these filters on the fly like this and get a different results. So if you need to get a line by line to identify each individual opportunity, you can do this in a custom report. Display any columns you need to do in here. You can edit this report to display the data you need to see. So it's in this. The data's in the system, you can view it, you can also export it into Excel if you want to work with it in Excel or bring it into another system. Okay, let's see if we've got any questions. Can we show data from MailChimp and Facebook Twitter stats, such as followers? So we can, with integration with MailChimp, you can view a certain amount of information, but I believe that the API on MailChimp limits the amount of analytics that you can bring out and show in another system. So we looked at our own CRM marketing tools. They have all the functionality and more than you have in MailChimp. Bitrix has a spam rating which is comparable, I believe maybe even lower than the MailChimp spam rating, which means that when you send out bulk emails, you know that they're going to get through to those prospects. Yeah, you can see a certain bit of information in MailChimp, but have a look at Bitrix CRM marketing. There's extra functionality and there's no cost on top of your normal subscription. Facebook and Twitter stats such as followers, I'm not too sure. I mean, I'd say no. You can communicate on channels like Facebook. You can receive communications from channels like Facebook and reply to them in Bitrix, but Bitrix is not a tool for managing social media activity. You can reply to inquiries and you can capture those inquiries as leads, but not posting to social media platforms for Bitrix. Okay. So we mentioned cloud, we mentioned self-hosted product a couple of times. Really, what's the difference? I think both includes all the same modules. So everything we've mentioned are available on both the cloud and the self-hosted, including leads, deals, invoices, quotes, all those modules. You can customize the layouts. We didn't really look at that, but you can change the layout fields. You can create custom fields, display those. So you're going to want to have your own sort of selection lists and things like that to be able to categorize prospects. You can create those on both systems. Both include the automation tools. No difference there. So I think, yeah, one of the main differences is that you can customize a bit further on the self-hosted. You can integrate with other systems a bit better because there's a full API on the self-hosted, and you can create some more advanced automation rules within the self-hosted. But I would say that 95% or more is available on both the cloud and the self-hosted.
Yeah, I think that generally what we tend to find that is in the self-hosted version, you can customize maybe the terminology. So if you wanted deals to be called opportunities, or you wanted deals to be called whatever you want it to be called, then you can change that in the self-hosted. We've created a module for doing exactly that. And then, yeah, as we mentioned, creating advanced business processes and the integration. We've got many clients who maybe have their own internal database, and they've integrated that into the CRM. So they're having a two-way sync. Anything that gets updated in Bitrix gets pushed to their internal system, and anything that gets updated in their internal system gets pushed back to Bitrix. So it's a little bit more complex, but that's what the self-hosted offers. We have the full capabilities to integrate such ways as that, just as an example.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in summary, you can create targeted campaigns, whether email, SMS, or on platforms like Facebook. You can capture those inquiries from multiple different sources, whether that's email or telephony or forms or social media platforms where people are contacting you through their messenger tools. There's considerable ways to do automation to improve the speed you're processing inquiries and reduce the amount of manual work you're doing in-house. The Bitrix records allow you to create full history of all activities, not just by yourself, but you'll see everyone else's activities and interactions with that particular client. You can integrate with other platforms. We looked at Facebook, but we can integrate with really anything. And of course, you can report, so we can see fully where the leads are coming from, which are converting, which are the best opportunities, who's doing best in the team, etc., etc. Okay, that's it. So we have a webinar usually every week. Self-hosted advantages, it's coming up. We also look at project management tools. We have a webinar that looks at HR, and we have one that looks specifically at business processes. We have a live Q&A as well on YouTube every Thursday. So if you go to those links there, if you go to YouTube Thursday 10 a.m. Eastern time for live YouTube webinars, 10 a.m. Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern time on a Monday, every Monday. So use those links there. You need to register for the webinars. For YouTube Live, you don't need to register.
Yeah, I think if you just subscribe to our Interface channel, then you'll get a notification of every time we go live. We are going live on all webinars as well as the registered links. So if you do subscribe to the Interface channel, you'll get a notification every time we pop up.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks.